right, we'll continue on with our availabilities this morning with Jimmie Johnson, our 5-time champion in the Cup Series, who drives the number 48 Lowe's Cobalt Tools Chevrolet, 6th in the points, 2 wins this year, 4 wins here at Phoenix, 3rd in the spring race. Jimmie, we're winding down the last 2 races of the season, some changes here at Phoenix. Talk about what all that means to you at this point going into 2 to go.
Yeah, well, there's obviously a big difference here with the racetrack, and I was out here for the tire test and then for the open test. So we got a lot of laps on the racetrack, eager to get on track and see where the groove has evolved to. Unfortunately, it's been tough to really get a wide racetrack out there, but there's been some huge efforts made to put rubber down, and then obviously a lot of traffic with all the different series here. So hopefully it widens out, and hopefully we can go out there and win this Cobalt Tools race. I'm happy to hear that we're at capacity with the crowd. We've got a new paint scheme that we have on the race car that we're debuting here. So hoping for a strong performance.
All right, questions for Jimmie, let us know. We'll get you the wireless mic. Name and affiliation before you ask.
Mark Armijo, the Arizona Republic. Jimmie, you undoubtedly haven't thrown in the towel, but first, what are the odds you might be able to overtake the 5 guys in front of you? And secondly, if you don't, could you talk about this 5-year run you've had?
Yeah, I mean, where we are in the points is, we're over a race out, so we're going to need a lot of help, and it's probably would involve help here and at Homestead. So I'm not necessarily counting on that, but I'm an optimist, and myself and this race team, we aren't willing or ready to give up. We're going to try to win these next 2 races and still be, in a position to win the championship if there are some big mistakes made. If not, it's very important to me to finish as high as I can in the points. I have a thing going where I've been in the top 5 every year so far, and at a minimum I want to try to keep that alive, and I still need to get one more spot to do that. I guess I'm not really ready to reflect yet. When I'm mathematically eliminated, I'll be willing to go down that road emotionally and talk about it, but I'm still trying to keep some hope.
Okay, we'll go to Bruce, Tom, and in the back.
Bruce Martin, SI.com. I got 2 questions for you. One is, Kyle used to be your teammate. He's kind of, the last week has, been under a lot of scrutiny and all that. How do you view that, his situation, how he's changed, if he's changed since he was your teammate? Then I have a follow-up after that.
When you're a teammate with someone, you spend a lot more time with them and understand them. I am friendly with Kyle in the garage area, and we talk. I personally haven't had any real big run-ins with him, so my interaction with him on the track has been fine and all of that. So I guess I can't really answer your question about big differences in who he is and what he is, because I'm not in the same shop with him any longer. But I was real disappointed to see what took place and what happened to Hornaday and his championship hopes. And then clearly from there, it's been a crazy week for he and his team and his sponsors and everything that's been going on.
And also, although Tony's team has kind of an engineering relationship with Hendrick Motorsports, if he wins the championship, he'll be the first owner-driver since Alan Kowicki. And just how do you see, it'll be almost 20 years since we've seen that.
I didn't think it was possible. And I certainly would love to see Tony win this championship. I don't think any of us felt that we would see it take place again or even get close to it. And Tony has done an amazing job as an owner and as a driver. And, we'll see where things turn out for him. But it would be a huge feat that I think everybody wrote off and said would never happen again.
Hi, Jimmie. Tom Jensen, Speed.com. I know you said earlier you're not in a mood to reflect, but I'm going to ask you to reflect on one thing real quickly. You've had some odd things happen to you in this chase that some of you're making, some not of you're making, that have made it difficult for you to win a 6th championship. Had any of those happened earlier in any of the 5 chases, you might not be looking at the streak you are now. Do you find it remarkable in hindsight that nothing did happen to you like that in those 5 years, with the exception of the Texas deal with Hornish?
Well, I think, we did have some challenging moments. The Hornish thing in Texas, I think about the 2006 championship. I think about last year and how dominant Denny was in this race and looked like things were going his way. And then it all turned around. So, there certainly has been challenging points through each championship. And I guess that's why, I've always been in the mindset that it isn't going to last forever because I know how difficult it is. It is really, really remarkable what we've done with this race team and to win 5 in a row. And there's a reason why nobody had won 5 in a row beforehand. I mean, it just doesn't happen, in any sport. So I'm very proud of what we've accomplished. And, this year and the mistakes that have happened during the chase, I hate that they did, and I've got to take responsibility for a lot of them. I was the guy behind the wheel, and the crashes that took place, and a part of the strategy for Talladega, and a lot of different aspects of it. So, that stuff happens, and you can't win them all. Certainly want to, and going to try, and not giving up hope yet. But if it doesn't happen, we'll come back next year and try it again.
Thank you. Hi, Jimmy. Vaughn with PIR. Could you go a little bit more into depth about back here, a little bit more about the track? I believe you had the test run a couple months ago where you were able to see what it's like, but you had success prior to them ripping it up. But now, could you go into what do you expect it to be like on Sunday?
Well, for some reason, we've had a hard time finding grip, which is odd with brand new asphalt. We've seen it before at Charlotte, Las Vegas. There's been a couple instances where we don't know why, but it just happens that way. And there's been a lot of effort made to get it right, from the tire test, the open test. Lane rubber's been a concern, and the track's gone to great lengths to get rubber down, all last week. So the effort's been there, and it might just take a while before the track ages in the right manner for our cars to be real comfortable here and to widen out and use all of the new areas they created for us. The reconfiguration down here in 1 and 2, I don't know how that's going to evolve. I don't think you're really in the corner long enough. I call that turn 1 and then the dogleg turn 2. If they built all that banking and all the extra space to run, but I don't think you're really in the turn long enough to work an outside lane, at least as of now. We'll see as things evolve with the racetrack and where it goes. But passing may be a bit difficult. The good thing about it, it's a fun lap to drive. I've said that from the beginning. I really have never been through a combination of turns like we have at this end of the racetrack. And then you show up into turn 3 going a lot faster than you ever have before, and it's a downhill flat entry, which makes turn 3 very exciting.
Hi, Jimmy. Back here on your right. I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about the Jimmy Jam yesterday and the sort of a Hispanic connection there with Adrian Fernandez and Los Lobos playing. Yeah,
it was a good night. We had a lot of fun. It was great to see Adrian. I haven't seen him in a few years, and talked to him from time to time, but it's great to catch up with Adrian. Great concert, great turnout. So and then Adrian's also going to be, a part of everything takes place on Sunday. Lowe's has a large presence in Mexico, and the fit and tie all plays in really well.
Go to Shannon, Jorge, and Lee.
Shannon Spake, ESPN. Jeff Gordon was in here just a few moments ago talking about the Kyle Busch incident, about how under caution was really the crossing of the line. Guys aren't prepared for it under caution. I know there's a lot of trust between you guys on the racetrack. How does what Kyle did to Ron Hornaday Jr. affect that trust and maybe the way that you guys race him moving forward?
It doesn't really affect me on track. I don't think any differently as to what took place. I've seen a lot of stuff go on under caution, and you kind of know when you've either been in an incident and that guy's limping his way back to pit road, you need to look out, or once that car returns to the racetrack that something can happen. Speaking of a car limping to pit road, at Martinsville, McMurray and Vickers had their thing, and Jamie was down to like 2 miles an hour waiting for Brian to drive by on the outside, and Brian took it. I'm like, don't drive by, and pow, gets nailed. I'm like, man, why'd you drive by him? So, that's there. There are a lot of factors, I think, that played into Kyle's penalties and what took place. So when you're in that situation, what's possibly going to happen, and then at that point you start worrying. But until then, you just try to keep your eyes open so that you don't get caught up in something.
Jimmy, Jorge Mendaca, FoxSports.com. Barring a dramatic change in points, this will be only the second time in your career that you don't equal or better what you did the previous year. Have you started thinking about the offseason and things that you want to improve, change, whether it's for the team, yourself, anything?
Oh, yeah, we're always trying to become a better race team. I think through this year we've developed a better race car and a better crew over the wall. We had some issues early in the year in both areas that we had to overcome. That's kind of the disappointing thing to be where we are in the points right now, is we made so much progress through the course of the season, and I feel like had the speed to be a competitor or to be competitive in this chase and be a part of it. So that's kind of disappointing to have have the issues that we've had, and we've got to learn from them and move on.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. It appears with Carl having led the points as long as he has during the chase that he's been on the defense, not really on the offense. And Tony has just kind of come in and swooped in, and now the points lead is down to 4. Have you ever had a surprise attack like that, or is there any right way to win a championship, or since you've been through it 5 times, or does it just kind of play out the way it's supposed to play out?
Yeah, I mean, you try to look at the tracks in the chase and think that you're going to be strong at one and form some opinions, but truthfully, all that thinking that goes on between the races or before you ever get to the chase, it goes out the window when you hit the track. You unload and you go on the track and you're dealing with whatever handling conditions you are, and you kind of get involved in the moment in making your car as fast as you can. And you look around and see where the 14 and 99 are just going to be worried about where each other are on speed and lap tracker and all that kind of stuff. So each weekend takes on its own dynamic, to be honest with you, is I guess what I'm getting at. And all the worrying and thinking you do prior to the chase or that particular race goes out the window when you hit the track. And you deal with those circumstances that day.
Last 2.
Yeah. Overthinking is certainly something I've been through, and keeping it simple has been something I found helps in that department. But experience in the sport, experience racing for championships, helps you kind of understand where to worry. Before you win a championship, I think you worry about everything because you don't really have a roadmap yet. Then once you have some success and win a championship, you're like, okay, this is what's important.
Going to wrap it up with Mike and Jay.
Mike Muller, MikeMuller.net. Got our Daytona test coming up Tuesday. That's the start of next year. We've had 2 weeks to think about Talladega, maybe 3 weeks, I'm not sure, and the 2-car draft and all that. What do you want to see out of Daytona in terms of rules and stuff like that?
Man, I hadn't thought a thing about it. Just not concerned. I mean, plate racing in a big pack or in the tandem, that's not my favorite kind of racing, period. So whatever it is, and I'll go down there and try to do my best job. I don't know who's going down, to be honest. I'm not sure. I know it's not me.
This might not be a question you can answer, but I'm going to ask it. J.R. Yahoo Sports. I'm trying to figure out what Kyle did in the truck race versus what goes on at the track all the time. I understand it was under caution. It seems from my perspective that maybe under caution is, as long as there's nobody around, maybe a safer time to do it versus when you're running 190 full throttle wide open. NASCAR didn't punish Carl Edwards. They didn't punish Brian Vickers at Martinsville. Didn't punish Jamie McMurray at Martinsville. You and Kurt Busch have gotten into it. So what did Kyle do that was so different?
I think the championship implications had something to do with it.
They said no history. They said no championship.
I think he was on probation. No? I saw. I don't have a clue. Under caution, but as you pointed out, there are other instances there. I don't know. I really don't know. I just don't. I thought it was between those two things, and I guess it's not. Yep.
All right, Jimmy. Thank you very much. Good luck this weekend.